Welcome back to Kinda Funny's Pixar in Review. That's right, we are ranking and reviewing every Pixar movie. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez.
Oh God, I forgot the John Mayer song at the end. Never mind. Route 66 or something like that.
The big dog,
Not
Kevin
good.
Coelho.
I forgot the song in the middle, but I didn't like that song.
Life is a highway. We go fast and you go slow.
You're in a car.
It's Christmas in April. Joey Noel.
Ciao.
Thank you, Joey. And of course, the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
What's going on, guys? Rev your engines because this is going to be a good one.
This is Pixar in Review, Kinda Funny's in Review, where each and every week we rank and review different movie franchises. Right now, we are doing Pixar and Mortal Kombat, which is coming to a close later this week with Mortal Kombat 2021. Very exciting stuff. You can get the show on youtube.com/kindafunny or roosterteeth.com. You can also get it as a podcast. Just search your favorite podcast service for Kinda Funny in Review, and we'll be right there for you. If you want to get the show ad-free, you can go to patreon.com/kindafunny, just like the nanobiologist and Tom Bach did. Thank you both so very, very much. Today, we're brought to you by MeUndies and CFB Box Breaks, but I'll tell you about that later because we got to get right into it. Cars. With a runtime of 1 hour and 57 minutes. This was the longest Pixar movie until Incredibles 2 surpassed it by 1 minute. But without the credits, Incredibles 2 is only an hour 49, while Cars is an hour 52.
And this was
making
banging
it
credits.
the most content in a Pixar movie. It was released June 9th, 2006, making it the last movie produced by Pixar before Disney officially bought the company. And it's the final Pixar movie to be released on VHS and the first to be released on Blu-ray.
Wow.
Generational gaps there, making some history. It was directed by John Lasseter. Once again, he also directed Toy Story 1, 2, Bug's Life, and eventually goes on to do Cars 2. Music. Guess who did it, guys? Andy?
Giacchino? Or John
Randy
Mayer?
Newman. Randy Newman.
Oh, wow,
Randy
really?
It's
Mhm.
usually
It's
a
very different.
safe answer is Randy Newman. I think
Yeah.
One of the Newmans.
the Newmans, Paul Newman,
It just,
in this movie. Holy
Mhm.
shit! Holy
Yeah,
shit!
his
how many
brother's
Newmans are
in it,
there?
yeah.
Oh my god, how many Newmans are there?
It's just there weren't any vocal hints. I needed some vocal hints there.
What do you think they would have been, Andy?
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, they do that one song that just kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's like this really emotional kind
when
of
everything's dying, when it turns into a
ballad.
post-apocalypse.
It's
Are
just
you
it's
talking
just
about the song Our Town, which was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Song? It
Shut
lost
the
that,
front
but
door.
it did win the Grammy. It did win the Grammy Award.
Oh, good, good for them.
Mhm.
I Route 66. That's a bad John Mayer, but I'll work on it.
That sounded like a good Randy Newman.
I Route 66.
That was
Nailed
perfect.
It had a budget of $120 million and a box office return of $462 million. This was Paul Newman's last feature film before his death of lung cancer in 2008.
shit.
It turned out to be the highest grossing movie of his career. And George Carlin died of heart failure 3 months earlier, and this was the highest grossing film of his career as well. He
George
was
Carlin-
Fillmore, the hippie.
Vastly underutilized in this movie as Fillmore. I think the voice cast in the movie is phenomenal for how little they use all of them.
Bonnie
It's
Hunt.
a really good point.
Also
I agree.
excellent.
Yeah, Bonnie
Hunt,
Hunt,
great.
who I
Cheech
didn't know who
Marin.
she was. And then I Googled it, and I'm like, oh my God, you're like the mom from Jumanji. This is awesome.
Mom
She's
from
incredible.
She was kind of like the nice aunt, really. It's not the mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I
she's a
can
little
see her.
bit
The mom
younger than
character.
that.
I will say this. My issue with Bonnie Hunt being in this movie, she has a voice that of a vehicle that's been well established in the world,
Mhm.
right?
For
Had a
sure.
lot of different job offerings, moved from LA
Oh, I
to
see.
Radiator Springs.
Mm.
And meanwhile, Owen Wilson, Ka-chow, is a rookie on the scene, right? Got to be a younger car, younger vehicle, low mileage on it. And I just felt like Bonnie sounded older than
Yeah, what's wrong?
much older than Owen Wilson. Here's my recommendation. We
Wow.
remake this movie. We put in Rachel McAdams. We remake Wedding Crashers
Yeah.
in
Oh.
Cars.
What a
In the
twist.
Cars world.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. This is Owen
Mhm.
Wilson's first animated movie.
Oh,
So that's something.
wow.
And yeah, looking up Owen Wilson, I did not know how like unfortunate a past he has. Like I didn't know
Oh,
that there was
yeah.
attempted suicide stuff.
Oh,
I
yeah.
totally missed out on
I
that.
had
Very
no
sad
idea.
I don't
stuff.
know that either.
Going back to the awards for this, it was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, including Best Animated Feature and what I was talking about, the Best Original Song, but it lost Best Animated Feature. What do you think it lost Best Animated Feature in 2006?
What year was this?
2006.
Rio.
Oh God!
Is it?
If you lose
what's
to Rio,
what's the DreamWorks Dragon movie?
Django.
How to
How to Train Your Dragon.
No. Okay.
Oh, was it
No.
Django?
Django. Rango.
Django and Chain.
Rango,
yeah.
that's it.
Oh.
Which one was
Django
that?
and Chain.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was Happy Feet, actually.
Oh,
That movie sucked.
Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, listen,
Did
you're
it?
up
Surprised
against
by
the
that.
Pharrell song. Sorry, Randy Newman, you're gonna lose.
God. Remember
Happy
that
Feet.
song, Nick? Your favorite song?
crazy, but I'm Spider-Man.
Happy Feet.
Also, that song, not for Happy Feet, Nick.
No, I know.
I think I'm gonna say
Which
this
one
right
was-
here.
What animated movie was
Despicable
that?
Me.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm gonna say Happy Feet is the animated equivalent in terms of hype and sort of gaining an audience to
Where are
the
you going with
musical that
this?
everybody loves. The musical that everybody
Hamilton.
loves. Hamilton. I feel like they're equal, like in terms of like having a rabid fan base. Because at the time, Happy Feet had a rabid fan base.
This
You're
might
like-
be the most bizarre Andy Cortez take I have ever
Think
heard.
about it.
I'm here for it.
When you go to bed tonight, ponder on that for a bit and be like, you know what? You're right.
Don't waste your
Andy.
time. There's no reason to.
After a
What's
night of
wrong
sleep,
with
wake up
you,
and be
Andy?
like, you know what? You're right. Yeah, Hamilton, Happy Feet, very similar in terms of
Very
fan
similar.
base,
Huge.
rabidness.
A
Yeah.
lot of
Absolutely
crossover in the
crazy.
Venn diagram.
Some fun stats
Venn
for you, Andy, because I know you
diagram-orama.
love them so much here. Even with the farm of computers that ran 4 times faster than the ones used for The Incredibles and 1,000 times faster than the ones used for Toy Story 1, each frame of this movie took an average of 17 hours to render.
Whoa!
God.
Each
Holy
frame.
cow!
Each
Ka-chow.
frame. Cut
feel like-
chow, everybody.
I will say-
Yeah, let's go ahead, Andy.
I was just gonna say, visually, this movie looks
Way better.
like it was
10
in
out
a
of 10.
different decade than The
Yeah.
Incredibles.
Yeah,
like
yeah. So far
in terms
away.
of just when it comes to, and a lot of it could be that the fact that we had human-like characters in one of them, but I think it just comes down to lighting. I think this movie just looked so much more modern than The Incredibles did. There are some shots that in the early on races during the night race, when the camera's kind of following the cars from a very, very far angle, and the cars have all the different shadows on them from all the different light sources that are being hit by, and it looks real. Like, it's so fucking bizarre, and just it's such a good art style. Go ahead, Kev.
2 things. One, like I totally agree with Andy, and I think that like when Lightning gets the paint job and he's got the glitter on it, the metal with that glitter on it looks so damn good. But the other thing is that they haven't figured out crowd shots of all the cars, because anytime they show the stands, it's just there's a dip in quality that I feel. is
I
very
can't even
impressive.
think
That's
of the quality
interesting you
there,
say
Kevin.
that, because like some of the facts I have is like the crowd shots were something they spent the most time on, where there was like something ridiculous, like 23,000 individual cars that were animated
Unnecessary.
with individual
I didn't see
animation
that.
cycles and stuff for those.
It's
those
tough for me to
scenes.
even think of those car scenes, because I just think of, when you see those graphics and diagrams that show you how small Earth is compared to the Milky Way, compared to the galaxy, compared to and I think of just how gigantic this stadium has to be to house that many cars. Like, it's
know what's
gotta
great?
be a
Yo.
fucking huge ass stadium.
What's funny about that is I was thinking about the same thing. Like I was like, there's the stadium when they have that wide shot at the end, you see it, and I'm like, there's something weird about this stadium that I can't put my finger on. And then it dawned on me, there's no parking lot. Because the cars just drive right
They're
in,
parked,
and
yeah.
they park inside of it. So I was like, "Oh my god, that's so fucking weird." They had to like think about that. There's no space out. They don't need space outside because all the cars go inside. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Damn it, I can't show you, but like I pulled up an image that shows it's the stands that they're like, where they're parked. There's like it just kind of looks gray. Like you'll see the first 2,
That's like
and
a
then
ramp,
above
right?
it they're just gray, and it kind of disappears. So it looks like the cars are just kind of floating there in place, and that's the only issue I had with the visuals. Other
Do
than
you think
that,
they
it's
have
fucking
a
great.
problem? Didn't they have a problem at the raceways though, where like a car forgets to put his parking brake on and starts rolling down and just like kills other cars?
I mean, he'd have
Wait,
to go real
what?
fast, and it'd have to be a little baby car.
So, I mean, like
Yeah.
you're at the top and you start going over, and then you start building speed,
No,
and that last
they have
car you
the
hit is
fence.
just gone.
No,
You hit too many things before you get down to the bottom.
yeah.
Following that logic, though, I love that in Nick's world, it's like if it were just people, though, it's like, so what if the dude just fell in an arena?
That happens.
I
I'll
know
tell
it doesn't
you.
like kill people. Like,
Yeah, but if you got a running
it's
start
an
by
inconvenience
accident,
for like one row in front, like,
there's
hey, this is
3
A
rows of
running
people.
start by accident.
The first row, it sucks. The second row spilled their Cheetos, and the third row is just what happened. They're just put out for a couple seconds. They look around, but still, that's like it's different, you know.
There is no movie
solid
that makes
points
me
being made.
question more just the existence of the world than Cars. Like with monsters, you can think about the different professions they have,
Right.
how they procreate. You know, why? How do you distinguish a cow car from a normal human talking car? And obviously, there's a shot of little tiny beetle bugs that are flies, and that's absolutely adorable. But when we're talking like a cow, and it's a tractor, and it acts like an animal, but it looks like all the other fucking cars, it's just really weird. Like it's really bizarre.
So normally we do
also-
the Pixar theory at the end of the episode, but since Andy's touching on this now, I'm gonna get out of the way here. This is the
Give it
Pixar
to
theory, brought to you by the nanobiologist. There's a recurring theory that every single Pixar movie is connected in some way. Here's the big deep dive red string theory for where Cars fits into the big picture. When the humans leave Earth in an upcoming movie, what is left behind to not only clean but to run Earth? Machines. Humans were gone in space for 700 years, leaving the robots to do what some were programmed to do, clean, and others just to be there. This is believed to be when Cars 1 through 3 take place, specifically after the first 100 years of the humans being gone. Now, I mentioned in Incredibles that Syndrome's tech was still used and eventually adapted for a large company. That company hasn't been introduced yet. That almost runs everything on Earth. Think Amazon, but bigger. They use that 0-point tech to power just about everything, including cars. Now, that power used emotion as a resource. This use of emotion led to Cars taking on their drivers' personalities and make the world fit their needs while basically having everything be vehicles. They basically reenact human history since the cars have been around, just the world was so polluted that no humans or animals survived. Also, we know they're specifically on Earth because of a future movie coming up, but no future spoilers. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Mario Andretti car, and there's a Dale Earnhardt Jr. car. But
A limo.
and it's fun, and there's J Limo. Yeah, thank you, Joey. There's J Limo, phenomenal, and there is gosh, Bob Costas, but I think it's like I forgot the name that they give him as the sports announcer. This movie's fun.
Yeah, the Rustys brothers are played by real life brothers Tom and Ray Magliozzi, who are the hosts of Car Talk,
or
that's
the host.
funny. I was wondering who
the
those
world's
guys were.
most popular podcast.
It's funny that like I never noticed that till this last viewing, and I got so excited. Love
That's
Pixar.
great.
So
Yeah,
much.
this movie is one that I have defended for many, many years, and I've always said that it's underrated. I don't necessarily think that means it's like it deserves to be a 10 out of 10. I'm just saying I think a lot of people hate on it because of how popular it is and just the timing it came out, and the vibe is very different than the previous Pixar movies, and it has like Larry the Cable Guy. So there's just like a lot going into it that people want to hate on.
That's its own negative point.
That's its own negative point. It is what it is. But I will say, watching this movie, it's a damn good movie from front to back. It has really poignant moments, and I enjoy the build up of the older car character. I'm blanking on his name right now, Doc. But like when everything he does in this movie really feels like it's building on itself, and it feels like it's a character development that matters to the overall plot in a way that doesn't feel like a twist for twist's sake. It kind of just feels like everything kind of adds up in a nice way to build this world out like Pixar's so good at doing. But I will say that at the end of the day, watching it back to back with the last couple of weeks of these movies, it doesn't match up to the quality of things like Finding Nemo and Monsters Inc. Like it is more similar to A Bug's Life to me than the ones I just named. And again, we're talking about some really damn good movies, but it just sucks that when we're talking about Pixar movies, we have to be that extra level of critical because we're comparing it to things that are as close to perfect as a movie can be in some cases. Nick, what'd you think?
This is the second time I watched this movie, and actually watching it back again with a slightly more critical eye, I actually liked it a lot more than I did when I watched it in theaters, or when I watched it the first time back in the day. I can't say I watched it in theaters. I think I actually did. It's still a little weird to me. That I still think Cars just don't work as well as objects that we know are alive. I still have to. It's hard for me to have that connection. And to the earlier points that we made, it's just weird that everything's cars. Like I would have bought it if everything was like some sort of automated thing. But there's a moment where like we see a plane and I'm like, oh, there's planes. Is there a plane thing happening? And then we see two other planes. I was like, are the cars driving the planes? This is breaking my brain. I don't understand how this works. And then the fact that they sell tires, I'm like, are cars born with tires? And if so, do they wear the tires out like we wear fingernails out and they got to get new? I don't understand how any of this stuff works.
I think it's more like shoes.
We were fingernails.
Yeah, but then like why it? Yeah, I guess that didn't work, yeah. But like, you know what I mean? It's like, isn't the tire a part of the car? Or shouldn't they be born with that? And then I guess if they wear those out, you got to put them on. I'm not going to think too hard about it. Doesn't matter. But I think that part of me is I just don't love the story of someone like being held against their will into a town, even though those people are like trying to do good and like teach that person. It just seems like the first 30 minutes of this movie are a little hard for me to get through because I'm like, this is fucked up what they're doing to this guy. Yeah, he's an asshole, but like they're like withholding legal representation away from him and like basically like holding him prisoner in this town until he does what they want him to do. And it reminds me of a movie called like Nothing But Trouble with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd, which is just horrible. But then the other thing that makes me like this movie is that it is the exact same plot from a movie called Doc Hollywood with Michael J. Fox. And I fucking love that movie. So I gave this one a chance. And by the end of it, I came around.
Joey, what'd you think?
So this is my first time seeing Cars in its entirety. I'd only ever seen like the first like 15 minutes or so. So I had no idea what happened once he left the racetrack. I was like, oh, this is a fun adventure. This one I think is really fun. I like the cast of characters in it and stuff, but it doesn't have like that same emotional resonance that all of the other. Well, I don't think that the character development in this one is as like moving as some of the other ones. But I do think it's more fun. I really like, and I think part of it too is that the setting in the town of Radiator Springs is so well done as like a location, and it has like such fun flair in it that I really love that. But in terms of like, I don't know how much of it too is that it's really hard for me to be like, oh, that's Lightning McQueen versus that's just Owen Wilson. I feel like some of the other actors just blend way better into their characters, and he is not one of them for me.
Andy, what'd you think?
It's a fun movie. I enjoy it. I agree with everything everybody else has said. It doesn't really have that emotional impact. There's not a whole lot to connect with for me. But, I mean, it's hype as hell when he takes Doc's advice and does the drift when he's spinning out. Like, that moment is just, it's worth it for that moment. Just to feel those goosebumps. Be like, oh, he learned the lesson. Hell yeah. Lightning McQueen. I think a decent amount of the humor kind of falls flat for me. It does feel like this humor is definitely more for the kids in a lot of moments. Although there is one joke about being lit, like being stoned and shit, which is pretty funny.
There's a couple of jokes in here that are very mature, by the way. There's one where like the two Miatas show them their high beams, and I'm like, that's a very mature thing that they did there. But yeah.
Yeah, I just think a lot of it just is a little slapsticky for me when they are going out doing the cow tipping, and then when Lightning McQueen kind of goes off the cliff and the cactus kind of falls down on him. It's little silly stuff like that. Those are for the kids, obviously. But it's a solid movie. It's a solid movie throughout. I like knowing that you want Lightning to sort of grow up and grow past this, and seeing his struggle with even wanting to leave Radiator Springs, I think is pretty well done. I think the way that they show that off and show how he's kind of grown really fond of these people, and obviously especially Bonnie, but you know, the whole town's kind of become like a little family that he never had, especially when you have that first call with his agent. I forget the agent's name.
Harv, I think.
And Harv's like, invite your friends.
Piven.
And he's like, he's like, oh, I get it. You're too popular. It was like, no, Lightning just doesn't have friends. So it's kind of neat to see him connect with these people after a little while. So I had a blast with the movie. I think it's fun. I do think it doesn't, hold a candle to the other better Pixar movies, though.
Kevin, what you think?
I enjoyed this movie. This movie always catches me. The first time we watched it, caught me by surprise. Where it was like, oh, this is gonna be a terrible movie because it looks weird. But Pixar, they made it fun, and there are more kids stuff in it than normal. I think for a Pixar movie, more slapstick humor. but it does a decent job getting me. And I was surprised. Like, I was trying to look up, did Chevron ever sue Pixar for this? Because like the designs are, But then I looked in the Chevron cars, and the designs are actually quite different. With the let me see, switch to browser. They have the eyes and the headlights. So I was like, all right, so there you go. There you go. You get out of that way.
I imagine
The funniest thing about
licensed
that
it,
is
though.
growing up, I was in love. I was obsessed
Yeah,
with
they
those
were the
Chevron
best.
cars.
Me
I never
too.
owned one, but I was obsessed with them. Would love going and walking past gas stations just to look at them and be like, one day I'm going to own all of these. And last night I had that moment. I'm like, I'm a fucking adult that can do whatever I want. I can eBay them all right now. And I looked at them and I'm like, these things are hideous.
Yeah.
These things suck.
Yeah.
How did I
Yeah,
think
those
they were
things.
cool?
Don't bring those in your house. Don't bring those in your
Yeah.
house. I mean, for sure they had to I know you're kidding about that, but they had to license Porsche, right? Because she is a Porsche. She has the symbol, and her name is Sally Carrera. So like Porsche had to sign off on that, right?
What's the?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh, for
What's the
sure,
Sally
yeah.
Carrera thing? Oh, is that the Carrera?
Porsche
Is the type of
Carrera.
Porsche?
Carrera is so that she's a Porsche
Got it.
911 Carrera.
Yeah.
And actually, technically, she's a 996 911, which is unfortunate because that's the one everyone hates. But because of the horrible headlights, they look like fried eggs. Although they fixed it in this one a little bit because it took yellow out. It doesn't matter. I like
Isn't the Autopia ride at Disney? Don't they have like a partnership with Chevron for it too? Like, I wonder if there's some pre-existing
Interesting.
relationship.
I think Chevron owns Disney. I can't confirm that, but I'm just gonna say it and go on record.
I'd like to now very quickly create my own little side thing. I don't think this has ever been done before.
Are you
but
gonna do a podcast within a podcast? Is that what we're
podcast
doing,
within a
Kevin?
podcast,
Oh my
where I
god,
name-
Kevin
I
Coelho's
name
first podcast in a
my
podcast.
my favorite Disney inspired or Pixar inspired thing at a Disney park in the West Coast that isn't Disneyland.
Cars Land.
And it's Cars Land. They
Okay.
fucking nailed it. You know what I mean? They nailed it with that Cars Land. Yes,
Joey
ma'am.
Noel, what's up?
Kevin, can I piggyback off of your podcast within a podcast? I'd like to thank Turner Wentzian on Twitter for coining Joy's Joyride. We talk about the different rides
great.
at Disneyland. We need to talk about Cars Land, Kev. We're collabing on this one. It's so good. Walking
It's so
into
good.
that land and it's just Radiator Springs.
It-
So cool.
It
There's nothing
legit
cooler.
gives me nostalgia to watch Cars, like of being there. Where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I've been there. When they show the shot,
The leaning
at
tower.
the end.
The leaning tower of tires.
Yeah, the cones. Like when you see that shot at the end when everything's fixed up and pretty, it's just like I've been there. And then they show the nighttime one, and I'm like, do they do that at night? Like, does it look like that at night with the neon?
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you not been to Cars
100%
Land at
does.
night?
Oh my
I mean, that's
god,
so
Kevin.
cool. I forget everything. You know what I
It
mean?
is
Like,
Oh my
amazing.
god! No, that is what makes it special. Is the neon is unbelievable.
in the
And
day, I really
Halloween,
like it.
it's a whole other thing. But the ride itself is, I think,
So much
one of
fun.
the better
Best
Disneyland rides.
storytelling.
Period.
I
Or
agree.
Disney park ride periods. But because last week we were kind of talking about the different rides, like the Incredicoaster, which is like it's cool and it's fun and I love it. But the Cars ride, I forget the name, is so perfect at telling the story of this movie in an immersive form. But the moment where you're in the car and you drive under the like tunnel and you come out and it's the
Radiator
waterfall
Springs Racers.
and it's the music from the movie. It's like this is one of the
I
most
was brought to
immersive-
tears. I was
It's
brought to
amazing.
tears. Yeah.
And like Kevin's saying, watching this movie feels nostalgic for being at this park. It's so great. They did
Kevin, at
such a good
nighttime,
job.
I was there at nighttime after it had rained, so all the asphalt was super wet, and just all the reflections of the
Wow.
neon. It was so dope. It
Yeah,
was
that's
so
the moment
cool.
where it's like I need a nice camera to take out and take these pictures.
Yeah,
and capture
yeah,
those
yeah.
moments.
At some point, Tim, I'm just going to throw this out. I feel like we need to do an in review for attractions that we've reviewed on in review. We need to go to Harry Potter World. We need to go to the really bad Fast 9 ride in
Hell yeah.
Universal. I just think we
Can
go
anything
Disney.
that's Fast 9 inspired be really bad?
Oh, it's really bad.
Okay.
Because it's
I mean,
it's
that was-
very
By the way, that was not a rhetorical question. I would like the answer to that question, and Joey answered it. It's bad. Okay.
it's really
Yeah.
bad.
Understood.
Kev, I just sent Asset something for you to bring up, please. Just because I want Nick to see how dope this shit looks like at night. You can scroll forward to like 110 in this video.
Oh wow.
Oh, I miss Disneyland.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, are
Yeah,
you
I don't-
fucking
I'm just a
kidding?
Clips in the
sucker.
background.
I'm
and
just a
stuff.
I don't think
sucker
I've
for
ever
neon at
seen this.
night.
This is crazy.
That's
It's
really
so
cool.
cool.
I didn't even know this existed. Have I just
Nick,
not known? Like, I never saw this part in Disneyland.
Nick,
It's
in
in
California
California
Adventure.
Adventure.
Yeah, I know, but like, I used to like. I could have swore it. Well, how old is it again?
It's on the newer side. I think,
Okay, so it's possible I just haven't been to because like the last time I think I went to California Adventure must have been like, oh, I want to say 10 years ago.
I think it's like 5 or
longer
6
than
years
that,
old.
maybe
right?
15
It opened
years
in
ago.
2012.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, it was
Jesus,
I
almost
didn't
10
know.
years.
Anyway, it's fantastic. Highly
Yeah, and
recommend it. But for
it's-
now, Andy, let's get to the plot.
Please tell us the story. Yeah, Nick, tell us the story.
Ladies and gentlemen, drive like a Cadillac, sting like a Beamer. Here we go. It's Cars. And I've talked a lot of shit about this movie over the years. And about midway through this synopsis, I was like, damn it, I'm actually starting to like this film. We're at the
We won you
Dynaco. I know you did. It's still not one over on Milan. We're at the Dynaco 400, and the winner of this race gets the Piston Cup. What does that mean? They get to be a winner, and Lightning McQuaid might be the first rookie ever to win it. McQueen, excuse me, not McQuaid. I think Lightning McQuaid is actually a movie. Chick Hicks starts taking everyone out.
Michael
they race
fucking
around,
Keaton, dude.
which is Michael Keaton, and like. It's so special they got Michael Keaton for this because
perfect.
He's perfect. He is perfect for this role. He starts taking everyone out, but McQueen makes a move and hops into the air with his tongue hanging out, just like
Jordan, baby.
Michael Jordan.
A year to the
and
day since The Last Dance premiered. Are you kidding me?
That's amazing.
Wow.
Is it really? Wow. That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's crazy.
He takes the lead. Then McQueen decides not to pit because he fired his pit team, so he can take the lead instead, which he does. We get an odd lap montage during this, which I didn't think we needed because I was like, we're only 2 minutes in. We don't need we're 2 minutes into this movie. We don't need a montage. But Hicks really tries to take the lead. He cannot. McQueen pits, but won't let them change his tires, which seems like a short-term strategy, the announcer says, but it gives him a huge lead with 1 lap to go. With 1 turn to go, unfortunately, McQueen blows a tire, causing him, Hicks, and Strip the King Weathers to cross the finish line together, prompting a photo finish. As they wait, McQueen tells the media he's not sorry. He doesn't have a pit crew. He's a one-man show, which, of course, pisses off his pit crew that he does have left, so they all quit. And he's like, whatever, I'll just get another one before the next race. I don't value people or friends at all. And then 2 little twin Miatas come up and show him their headlights. And it's this point I'm like, all right, maybe I misjudged this movie. Maybe it's a little bit more adult than I thought it was going to be. And this seems just a little bit inappropriate for kids, but whatever. I mean, Pixar movies, they make them for 41-year-olds, right? Am I right, Tim? That's what they do. Let's see. And then Strip comes over to Lightning to try and impart to him a piece of wisdom from all of his many years of racing. But as he's talking, basically, he's trying to tell him, you need your team if you want to win. He just spaces out and instead starts fantasizing about living in the Iron Man house, which... Come on, we've all been there. We've all been there, right?
Amazing.
It really is the Iron
The
Man
movie
house. That's
montage,
like
all of
Charlie's
that.
Angels.
It's just so funny, dude.
Tim starts, it's 9 a.m. We're in the production meeting. Tim starts talking about all the important things we have to look forward to next week, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, how does he fly with the
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, guess what? Turns out Lightning didn't win. It was a 3-way tie, resulting in a tiebreaker race to be held in California in 1 week. Winner takes the Piston Cup and gets a Dynaco, that sponsorship, all to itself or himself. Before he can leave the racetrack, Mac, played by John Ratzenberger.
Ratzenberger. It's a little Ratzenberger watch, baby.
That's the Rat Watch. Reminds him that he has to put some FaceTime in with his one and only sponsor, Rusty's.
Quick
Yes,
question or quick comment, just because I'm probably gonna forget to. When we get to the end and they have what is it, John, right? John Ratzenberger.
Yeah. He's watching all his movies.
He's
Watching
clips.
all
Such
the
a
clips
great-
and like
great joke.
it goes from him being like, "This is hilarious" to like, "This isn't like this is the same dude," and like, "Oh,
Yeah,
these people
it's
just get the
lazy.
same guy." So funny. I just want to give that.
I
a
love they got
comment.
the
So fucking
voices.
funny.
The cameos were so fantastic. And apparently they were going to do it for Finding Nemo and Incredibles as well. And I couldn't find a reason for why it didn't happen because they got the actors for those signed on as well.
Ellen was
So-
being a bitch.
Damn.
No, it sounded like they were on.
Oh, Jesus.
Shots fired. She was probably like, I'm too busy torturing my employees and playing practical jokes on them and buying awesome watches. Let's see. When he goes to the
Nick
rest
knows
of
about Ellen.
oddly enough, I do know Ellen is a very big watch fan. She has a very good collection because she's like a multimillionaire. Let's see. They tease him when he goes to the Rest Ease sponsorship meeting. They tease him for not having real headlights and then make him give a speech, which he phones in and then bounces because, as you all know, life is a highway and I want to ride it all night
All
long.
night long. Hell yeah.
good.
Mac.
But I
as
do
they're
love
driving-
seeing sort of that side of lighting, like, man, fuck these guys. These are a bunch of losers I'm with right now. Like I love that moment where he's like, okay, yeah, and closes the door, closes like, not a chance. Like I'm gonna be gone out of this stupid endorsement. I'm gonna be with Dynaco in a couple of weeks. Like I don't
So
give a shit
sad,
about you
though.
all
It's so
anymore.
sad.
I know, yeah, but
Kevin?
it's just good characterization. It's good to
Yeah.
make him seem like a douchebag.
That's the kind of hardcore, brutal nature you and I are gonna have when we leave this company and go
I
to
can't wait.
Dynaco, whatever the Dynaco is. We're
can't
gonna have
wait
to.
to go Dynaco.
Tim's gonna be like, Kevin, please don't go, baby, please don't go. And I'm like, Kevin, you look at me, be strong, and then we're gonna hold hands.
You know, it's the end times when Tim
a long
calls Kevin
day.
baby.
It's gonna be Nick. It's gonna be Nick and Kevin in the car on the way to that thing, and they already break up as a group.
And then somehow we still go to Taco Bell.
Kevin's gonna kick him out of the car.
Yeah, Kevin's like, get the fuck out of here. Harv calls and asks Lightning for a friends list for the big race, but he doesn't. have
Jeremy
any
Piven,
friends.
just nailing
shit,
it.
it
I
is
mean,
Jeremy
literally
Piven.
just playing
Ari
Ari Gold.
Gold.
Just
all
reprising
it
his
is.
role as Ari Gold from
But it's so
from
good.
Entourage.
I forget
Well,
that I
that's the
missed
character that made him.
Ari, but I
There
like
are-
getting this little snippet of him.
Oh my god, yeah.
The IMDb, there seems to be a mistake. It says there are 2 Harvs.
One
one of
is
them is-
for the UK.
Interesting.
Like
To freak up. So one of them is so the other one's Jeremy Clarkson, who from
Top Gear.
Top Gear. Holy shit,
Oh,
that's
that's cool.
hilarious.
So
That's actually pretty cool.
interesting voice casting stuff from different languages. Do you guys know, and you might have been tagged in something, so you might already know this, but do you know who was the German voice of Lightning McQueen?
I
Yeah.
do.
David Hasselhoff.
No.
Daniel Bruhl, aka Zemo.
Oh, Baron.
Yeah.
Baron. Yeah, that's
A
cool.
very, very, very young Daniel Bruhl.
Did he go? Were they like this? Listen, you can do this. You can have this role, but you have to be able to nail the wow.
Yeah.
How do you say wow in German?
Wow. Das ist wow. All right. I'll stop joking around. We'll just get back to the plot. Mac wants to stop.
It's just Nick. It's because I don't want to encourage you because it's such a bad wow.
I'm Andy, I'm laying up the wow for you to take and dunk with the soundboard. You've got the Owen Wilson wow board, do you
I don't
not?
have it. I don't have it hooked up. I'm sorry.
Get the
man.
hook,
I'm
hook
sorry.
up the wow board. I want the Luke and Owen Wilson. Throw in a little,
Throw the brother too.
Does Luke Wilson say wow?
I don't think so.
He does say G's though. He says G's. I think it's like G's. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll watch some Luke
that's
Wilson
right.
movies. I tried watching Bottle Rockets the other day. Couldn't get into it. I remember liking it a lot though. It's like Wes Anderson, one of Wes Anderson's first movies.
His first. It is his first, right?
Is it his first? Yeah. Very, very not Wes Anderson-y, but you can see the start of it all there. Let's see. Mac wants to stop for a rest, but Lightning makes him push through into the night because he wants to be the first portion of the raceway, which is a power move. He promises, he's like, listen, I'm going to stay up all night with you, and then he immediately falls asleep. Mac struggles to stay awake as a bunch of cars from Fast and Furious 2 roll up on him. They play some Kenny G, so Mac will fall asleep and then run him off the road, which seems maybe like the car version of homicide or attempted homicide here.
Yeah,
but I'm
but-
guessing there are just no laws in this post-apocalyptic landscape that is fucking cars.
There are laws.
But it also seems like you shouldn't be allowed to do that in a race, and the bad dude does it all the time, right?
It's Robin
He
Hood
literally-
racing, man. If you've learned anything from Days of Thunder, which is a movie that we will one day watch with Snowbike Mike,
Sincerely
Robin
doubt it.
is racing. Oh, we're gonna get to it.
There we go. There
I think
we
it's
go.
on
I
Amazon
love that
Prime.
it's straight up just the cast of Too Fast, Too Furious from Miami. There's like, yep, we're gonna get all the cars. It's not really, but
Done.
like,
No, I know.
just
That-
all the
yeah.
underglow and all that stuff.
Let's put it
great.
this way. If they made that movie now, it would fucking 100% be the cast of Fast and Furious as those voice
Oh,
actors.
that'd be so.
But these guys like
play some KG.
trying to commit like involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, they're trying to
dude.
kill
like
some people.
put the
car
truck
slaughter.
to sleep with the Kenny G song. Like what is wrong with you
So messed
psychopaths?
up.
I feel like they're
Kev,
more.
can you bring up what I just sent to Asset
Sure.
before
Bad
we get
prank
too
gone
far
wrong.
from the conversation about Owen and Luke Wilson? Because I looked it up and there's a video called "Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson Are the Same." Let's just watch this for like 30 seconds, please.
Please, thank you. I need this. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
Oh, very quiet. Oh, never mind.
my line. He's storing A, he's stealing my lines. It's unbelievable.
What are you
talking about? What are you talking about?
This is
Talking about?
This is amazing.
What are you talking about?
This is amazing.
Okay, we can stop.
This is
We get it.
amazing.
But I'm sure there's some point here where they say "wow."
Wow.
Over and over and over.
Talking about.
What are you talking about? That was great. Let's see. Lightning falls out of the back and narrowly escapes being hit on the road. He tries to catch up to Mac, but when he does, it's not Mac at all. It's like a recycling truck or something like that, and he gets lost on historic Route 66. A cop catches him speeding and races after, but the old police cruiser soon starts backfiring, which Lightning takes for gunshots, so he starts serpentining. And man, let me tell you guys this. Every time someone says serpentine, I think of that one scene in wow, God, now I'm fucking blanking on the name of the show, Archer, where he's like serpentine Bobo, serpentine, because he's talking to his big old cat. It's funny. He loses control and crashes
That's just
in.
so good.
It's so great. In Radiator Springs, somehow managing to destroy the entire road with a statue of the old founder of Radiator Springs, who I didn't realize until the very, very end is actually the husband of the older car, which she has a little endearing scene with him. Anyway, gets hung up on some power lines, and the whole town comes out as like, what the hell just happened? Mac arrives at the LA Speedway, but when he drops his ramp, Lightning is missing. The story quickly makes national headlines, and everyone from Jay Leno to a really bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impressionist start looking for him.
But
Lightning
him being
wakes up.
a Hummer, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
They
it was
nailed
great.
that, you know?
That was perfect. Lightning wakes up the next day in a junkyard with a boot on, and he meets Mater, who is an idiot, and almost lets him out. But thankfully, the sheriff catches him and takes him to court. And the judge is the judge is Doc, who lets Lightning off and you're like, wow, that's weird. He kind of let him off there. He wants him out of town until Sally Carrera rolls in, and Lightning immediately starts hitting on her because he thinks that she is his high-powered defense lawyer because she's a Porsche. But it turns out she is one of the citizens of Radiator Springs and talks the entire town into forcing this man into servitude for as long as it takes for him to fix the road. To which I'd have been like, do I get a phone call? Can I call my agent and have him just bring a lawyer here? Because I can pay for the road. I have a lot of money.
I got
I'm a
people.
racer.
I am a very rich race car.
Car law is different.
We can
Nick.
settle this with money, the good old-fashioned American way. But no, they want to strap him to a fucking giant machine and make him almost kill himself trying to fix this road because, quote, he's got the horsepower.
Do they
And I
have
know a
money
thing about
in
two
this
about
world,
that.
though? Do they ever talk about money?
They got sponsorships, so they have to have money.
But like, he never pays for anything, right? Like for.
But that's what
Staying at the
celebrity.
motel.
Joey, you don't understand. When you're a big time celebrity like me and Tim, you don't pay for squat. You think Tim paid for that liqueur can? No. Somebody just came in and threw it into one of his windows,
head
an
to
open
toe.
window.
He
and grabbed it.
definitely. I mean,
And then he
it's
got
kind
the
of-
window for free.
Yeah, he's got a window.
It's kind of implied at the end that he buys like a bunch of stuff, right? When he goes, does the like tire, gets his tires done, gets a paint job. Like they weren't excited because he was just using their stores for free, right?
I don't know.
I don't know,
Look,
man.
there was an exchange of goods, so
Yeah, but they
I don't
cut that.
understand
part,
how
you
this
know? They
works.
cut,
We
they
didn't
cut
see it,
around all
yeah.
that
They also
stuff.
don't have enough, like they don't have digits, so they can't really enter a PIN number. So I don't know how.
They use their tongue.
Yeah, their tongue has a near field communication little chip.
Oh,
Oh,
gross.
NFC. Oh, nice. That's so smart.
Let's see. The judge asks Mater to hook Lightning up to Bessie, which is one of those big old slurry machines. But Mater mistakenly unboots Lightning first, and so Lightning cuts and runs. Thankfully, they siphoned his gas while he slept, so he's trapped in this town without any real legal
That sounds
representation. I'm just gonna
nasty,
say this.
right?
That
kinda
just seems like
fucked up.
it seems like a
Yeah.
violation of someone's personal space to be siphoning their gas. You know?
Without
Yeah,
them
dude.
knowing
They
while they're
removed,
asleep.
Like there has to
Liquid
be
from
some
his
sort of
body.
like sexual aspect to that, right?
Think of it like it's a blood test when you're like a DUI. They
Slurping
can
it out.
force you to make some sort of test, right? Can't they compel you to do a blood test?
And
I
then
don't
they
know.
went and took food out of his tummy, basically.
They did.
Yeah.
They're like, you don't need that. Bro.
God.
He's like, well, now I'm
Yeah.
I don't
tortured.
like that.
Yeah.
And also just odd that like cars in this world need gasoline.
I mean, it makes
else
sense
they get
for the
stranded.
theory. You know, the Pixar theory.
Yeah, I guess that's
Yeah.
true. Let's see. Lightning gets some slurry on him and asks the fire truck, Big Red, for some help, but he runs away. And then Luigi and Guido, who run
Which
the
is an
tire place.
interesting name for both the
Luigi and
actor
Guido.
and the character.
Well, Tony Shalhoub plays Luigi, right?
Yes, which is
And
hilarious.
Guido
can't be mad at
Quaroni
that.
plays Guido.
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
I'm
that's
saying.
awesome.
Yeah. Is that someone
who
famous
run-
or?
Oh no, look, I'm reading it right here. He began his career at Pixar in 1997. He worked for 2 years in modeling, rigging, and shading for Toy Story 2. They went on to work for effects in the film. And then he became a sequence supervisor for Monsters, Inc., where he worked on the hair effects technology. And I guess they just kind of cast him in Cars. That's great for him. Good for
Classic
him.
Pixar.
Yeah.
I love him. He's adorable.
He's
Joey,
very good.
I messed up a little bit. I messed up a layup here for me, okay? I'm going to need you to go back to a conversation about the money and how they buy things. But then, Nick, you were saying that they don't buy things because why?
Communism.
They don't
They're
buy.
sponsored.
Wait, yeah,
They're
they're sponsored.
Just like this video.
Oh, that was 10 out of 10.
This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. MeUndies believes that comfort is about more than what's touching your skin. It's about feeling comfortable in your skin. That's why MeUndies sources the softest, most comfortable fabrics imaginable. They have endless styles, and they are available in sizes extra small all the way up to 4XL. You can express yourself every day in new limited edition prints because what you wear on the outside should empower you from the inside. It's their whole thing with MeUndies. I love MeUndies. I've been talking about it forever. Literally, right now, head to toe, I'm in MeUndies with the shirt, with the undies, with the lounge pants, and with the socks. I love how soft it is. It's changed my life, changed my wardrobe entirely, where I have completely replaced all my socks and shirts and undies with MeUndies because of how soft and consistent the quality is. And it's also super fun with all the fun designs they have, whether they're licensed things like Star Wars or things that are just more like fun, like weird little sushi rolls and stuff. It's always fun stuff. Great to unpack every month and be wowed by whatever was sent. MeUndies has a great offer for you guys. For any first-time purchasers, you can get 15% off and free shipping. They also have a problem-free philosophy when it comes to returns. If you're not satisfied with anything, no caveats, no questions. You're good. They'll exchange it. They'll refund it, whatever you need. Go to MeUndies.com/morning to get 15% off your first order and free shipping. That's MeUndies.com/morning. And now this next sponsor I'm very, very, very excited about. This episode is brought to you by Channel Fireball Box Breaks. Channel Fireball is a very big name in the collectible and trading card industries. Their new initiative, CFB Box Breaks, involves live streamed pack and box openings. We've talked a lot about this on the different podcasts and in the streams a little bit with Snowbike Mike unboxing Pokemon cards. But how this works is people will purchase a group in a break. We'll use basketball as an example here. Let's say we all buy in. I get all the Cavaliers cards. Greg gets all the Miami Heat cards, etc. The break happens live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. They stream them, and then they do it every Tuesday through Thursday at 1 p.m., Friday and Saturday at 3 p.m. And then they get whoever gets assigned those cards gets those cards. They're also personal breaks. So let's say Blessing buys an entire box of Pokemon cards. We open it live on stream before shipping him the cards themselves. Each stream also builds to a premium break. These are usually spicier, more expensive breaks with big hits in them. For example, this Saturday, they're breaking a box of revised Magic the Gathering. Each booster pack is $500, and there are cards worth over $1,000 that you can open in there. Box breaks are a fun way to get your hands on collectible cards like Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Flesh and Blood, sports cards, and more. Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, there's a whole bunch of cool stuff. They're running an awesome deal on Battle Styles, the hottest new Pokemon set right now, and you can get a box cheaper with CFB box breaks than anywhere else. This Friday and Saturday, CFB box breaks are running 2 spicy Pokemon box breaks, a booster box mixer on Friday and an elite trainer box mixer on Saturday with packs from Evolutions, Darkness Ablaze, Sword and Shield, Vivid Voltage, and Battle Styles. Kev, it's time. Bring it up. You can get your hands on a Pikachu VMAX worth over $400. Head to CFB Box Breaks now and use code KINDAFUNNY so they know that we sent you and you can get 5% off your first break. That's CFBBOXBREAKS.com. Use code KINDAFUNNY. CFBBoxBreaks.com, code KINDAFUNNY. Kev, bring it up one more time, because I want to say this is the Pikachu VMAX card, which has lovingly been nicknamed Chonkachu. And I love everything about that. So if you want to potentially get a Chonkachu or see somebody get hype opening a pack and getting this Chonkachu, you know where to go. CFBBoxBreaks.com. So cool. You love that, Kev?
So good.
I thought you would. All right, guys.
That was good. I was clunky on that
yeah.
one. I'm going to rate myself at 3 out of 10 for that one. Tim, you get a 10.
Kevin said communism.
Yeah, I did.
It's fair enough. Let's see. They start. Luigi and Guido start geeking out over him being a race car driver. And they ask him like, "Do you know Mario Andretti and Michael Schumacher?" And he's like, "No, dude. I race in America." And they're like, "Well, that's bullshit." And they
Do you not have Ferraris? And I love the reaction. It's like,
Yeah.
nah, this guy's lame. Never mind.
sucks.
What it reminded me of is whenever a parent has walked up to us at E3 and be like, "Oh, are you guys on YouTube? Are you like Ninja?" And we're like, "No, we're not like Ninja." They're like, "Ah, never mind."
Forget it.
God.
The other thing though is then when they're just like, "Oh, I'm sure my kids watch you," and we're like, "No, I'm
yeah,
sure they
no,
They do not.
They don't.
Let's see. Two tourists roll into town, and Sally tries to ingratiate the town to them, but they overdo it a little bit. And then Lightning it starts begging for their help. He's like, "Please, they're keeping me prisoner." And the tourists freak out, and they just leave. And then I forget the voice actor's name in this one.
Bob
Can you guys help me out?
Costas. Is that right?
Is it Bob Costas? No, it's not Bob
No,
Costas.
sorry, that's someone else. Richard.
The voice
Kind.
actor is the
Richard
Richard
Kind.
Kind.
Oh, it's Richard
Kind.
Kind, yeah.
He's
And Edie
in
McClurg.
everything. Yeah, and it's Edie McClurg. Okay, so those two. Anyway, they're great. Meanwhile, Lightning has a flash. He has one of those daydreams, or that chick gets the Dynaco treatment, gets the new coloring, gets to live in the Iron Man house, and he's like, "Screw this! I'm gonna finish this road today." And he revs his shit up and finishes the whole road in an hour. But it's hideous. The road looks like shit, and it makes Red cry. He's like, "Listen, the deal was, I fixed the road." And Doc says, "Yeah, the deal was you fixed the road, not make it worse." But Lightning's like, "Listen, I'm not a bulldozer. I can't go out and chip that thing away. I'm a race car." So the judge challenges him to a race. And at first, you're like, Lightning's going to smoke this guy. But clearly, the judge has a plan because Lightning takes off. And the judge is like, I'm just going to hang here for a second.
Did we
And he knows something that Lightning doesn't, which is how to drift, apparently. And I'm like, is this movie at all related to Tokyo Drift? How do I make a joke like that? Anyway,
did
Lightning ends up, thank you, taking that turn way too fast, skids out and slams into some cactus. Mater pulls him out. So Lightning works into the night as the rest of the cars watch him and don't help him at all. Sally wakes up the next day to a beautiful stretch of brand new road, and everyone freaks, but there's still plenty of road left. Doc is amazed that Lightning did a good job, but when he looks for Lightning, he finds him out on that old dirt track trying to make that nasty turn. So the judge takes it upon himself to give him a little lesson on racing. He says, "Listen, man, sometimes you got to turn right to go left." But Lightning, once again, is too cocky. He's like, "Turn right to go left. Right, cool." But he tries it anyway, and then doesn't do it right and ends up in the cactus, proving once and for all that the Doc is just screwing with him, and that old man is just an asshole. I'm joking about that. Sally decides to invite Lightning to stay at the Cozy Cone as a thank you for actually doing a good job with the road. And I'm like, this is actually a clever little twist on caution cones, which cars usually try to avoid. I think that's the first bit of like really. This movie is very, very creative, but that was the part that I was like, that's pretty funny. I would stay in that hotel.
At Disneyland, the Cozy Cones, like they have the cones remade, and it's like a food place that you get stuff.
Oh, fun.
And they sell you these cones that are like, it's bread cone, but on the inside it's mac and cheese.
Oh,
And you
that's
just
cool.
fucking chomp on it, and it's good.
That's
real
cool
good.
as ice. As Sally drives away, Lightning spots her pinstripe tattoo on her back, and he's like,
I love it. I
Pinstripe
fucking
And
love
she gets
it.
a little embarrassed.
So funny.
It's funny.
She's
Again,
so-
another bit of slightly more mature humor here in an otherwise kids movie, but I'll allow it. Later that night, Mater invites Lightning to go tractor tipping, and it's pretty hilarious. I think, Andy, you were saying you didn't like this part, but I'm a dumb child. I thought this was fucking hilarious, especially when they fart.
There was a lot of
course.
parts.
I think it was funny.
And Lightning and Mater actually end up having a good laugh about this until a giant combine harvester comes in and runs them off. Very scary.
Terrifying.
On the way back to town, Mater teases Lightning for being in love with Sally and then shows him how to drive in reverse like a madman thanks to his rear view mirrors. Oh my God, that looks
Thank
amazing.
you, Kevin.
These look
That looks-
so
Holy
That looks
cow.
so good. It's crazy.
Fucking
Andy
good.
There's
looks
a
at this,
pizza cone
and he's like,
too,
"Oh,
right?
horrible. That's scary." Andy, come on. We got to get you there.
Oh, is that mac and cheese? I just thought it was like cheese fries or something.
It's mac and cheese. It's like
That'd be way
cheese
cool if it was
fries.
cheese fries.
There's
Never
like a pizza one too, I think.
I'll look it up.
It's so good.
Let's see. Mater asks him why it's so important that he win this big race, and his reply is kind of a dick. He's like, "Listen, man, I'll be on Easy Street, and I won't ever have to deal with these rusty people anymore. No more rusty cars." To which Mater's like, "Oh, what's wrong with rusty cars? I'm a rusty car." And Lightning's like, oh no, I didn't mean you. And so Mato's like, all right, screw it. Then I'm right back on you. You're my best friend. And he promises him a helicopter ride, which prompts Mato to call him my best friend, which literally always gets me. Anytime, Andy, in any movie, someone turns to another character and says, you're my best friend, it gets me. Is it because I'm surrounded by a bunch of jackals that always, at any given turn, want to just get one over on me? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know.
It was a good moment, though. And
It's a
it's
good
backed
moment.
up. When he gets the helicopter at the end, it is
Great.
such a
It's
fuck
fun.
yeah moment.
Let's see.
But then followed up by that really cool back and forth between him and
Sally.
Sally of like,
Right. Where she's like, did you mean that?
are you lying to him or are you just
Right.
saying that? And he's like, well, I don't know. It's like I love her confronting him there, because he's gone his whole life not ever been being called on his bullshit. And I thought that was a really cool sort of like, hey, check yourself, dog. Like you're lying to people who actually care about you. Like don't break his heart. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. And yeah. She makes a point of saying Mater actually trusts you.
Yeah.
And that's a moment for her where he's like, fuck, maybe that's something that I should think about. And then, of course, as Sally drives away, Lightning thanks her for the hotel room, which is actually the first endearing thing he's done all movie. And then he has another bad dream, but this time it's the harvester that gets all of his dreams and gets to live in the Iron Man
So
house and all that
funny.
stuff. Fucking hilarious. And he wakes up and heads to Doc's shop for his daily ration of gas so he can get out there and finish that street. But Doc is busy looking up the sheriff's rear end. So Lightning heads to Doc's old garage where he spots not one, not two, but 3 piston cups. What's up,
That
Kev?
scene was weird, right? With the like
That's
sheriff being like, "You
super
take a good
Isn't
look.
that- look at my
You like what you see? Mm.
I got
oh,
all
shit.
Tim. I got all this ass.
And it did seem out of character for the sheriff, too.
Yeah.
Like everything we've seen of him until that point, he didn't seem like
If I want to report you, who would I report you to?
Yeah. Like the fact
think
that
this
he
is-
didn't say boy at the end, like you know,
Yeah.
he implied it, you know?
Yeah, there's a little bit there. Of course, Doc, it turns out, was the Hudson Hornet, the fabulous Hudson Hornet. And Lightning flips because he's heard of him and wants to hear all about these trophies and how Doc won. But all Doc sees is a bunch of empty cups. Lightning tells the whole town that Doc is a racing legend, but they don't believe him. He goes and he says, he won 3 piston cups. To which Mater replies, he did what in a cup?
Yeah, that's a good line.
This is a good line. This is a good line.
And then Nick turned to his wife and said, I don't care who you are. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean,
They
I
had
watch
that-
these movies about
They had that
myself now.
reference earlier in the beginning of the movie, and I was like, they're referencing his stand up. That's good for them.
Oh,
Now, where was Jeff Foxworthy? I thought he was going to come in.
didn't get the call, man. It was like it's either Larry the Cable Guy or Jeff Foxworthy.
You
We don't need all
may
3 of
be a
them.
hubcap if I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like what a redneck thing would be. Never mind.
Probably just
Continue,
a-
Nick.
All right. Then Sally gives Lightning some gas. And then invites him on a drive because now she trusts him a little bit. They're like, "Are you crazy?" He goes, "No, I trust him. Let's give him a shot to be a good person." And for a moment, he thinks about running, but the allure of hanging out with Sally and just cruising down the open road are a little too much for him. So he heads off after her in a new direction, and for the first time in his life, drives for the sheer fun of it. They pass the Wheelwell Motel, which used to be the most popular stop on the Mother Road, but is now derelict. Lightning asks how a Porsche like her ended up in a place like this, and she tells him she was a lawyer, high-powered lawyer in LA, living life to the fast lane, but she was never, ever really happy. And Lightning has a little moment where he goes, oh, well, he kind of understands, right? Because he's not really happy either. She goes, I just had to cut and run. I drove until I broke down in Radiator Springs and fell in love. And he goes, Corvette? She goes, no, I fell in love with the vast, stunning, very car-shaped rocks and landscapes of the land and all the great people here in Radiator Springs. And it's interesting. It's a little on the nose for me when they look around and all like there's like every other rock formation is like an old Buick, like Buick Plymouth or whatever. But whatever, it works for me. And then they look over and she says, look over there. You see that interstate? Those are cars just driving by without a clue of how beautiful Radiator Springs is. But it used to be different. Cars used to drive on Route 66, which moved with the land, not through it. But once the interstate was put in, it killed the town and made Radiator Springs a distant memory.
All just to save 10 minutes of driving. What a hard
know,
like
it's so
this scene is
sad.
heartbreaking, dude. This scene reminds me of just businesses that are dying today. And it always just bums me out that the world is moving on and old Radiator Springs is just dying, dude. What I would do, like how about in Cars 2, whatever that's going to be about, I don't remember. We fuck up
Espionage.
Radiator Springs. Like Or not Radiator Springs. We fuck up the interstate. How about we destroy it? Use Old Bessie or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Destroy the road. Make them take a little detour through Radiator Springs.
So
You know.
here's the only thing, and like I get the message, but like let's be realistic. It's extra 10 minutes, but it's also 6 lanes of traffic either way at the same time versus 2 lanes. I
I
mean,
knew Kevin was going to
you
be
know
the
what I mean?
asshole with this. I knew
well, I'm
he
not
was
trying
going
to be the asshole. I'm just talking
I-
about the actual logistics of moving millions of
This guy,
people
dude.
and the positive of interstates. You know,
You would let San Francisco demolish your parents' house if you're like, oh, they're gonna give me $10. Like, fuck it, it's
For
$10.
I'm not doing this for money. I'm just saying for progress.
I loved this montage, and I feel like it did such a great Pixar thing of kind of just backing up all the themes of the movie and just having every single thing you need to know about the movie in this like 3-minute period. Like, what is the core crux of the issue and the conflict of this whole thing? And the scene where we see the map and we see Radiator Springs disappear, like just the words from the map. That is just like so fucking. That is heartbreaking. Like it hit really, really hard, and I love Pixar for that.
When they get back, of course, Lightning thanks Sally for the drive. Says, quote, it's kind of nice to slow down every once in a while. That doesn't last very long because Mater comes rushing by, chased by a stampeding pack of tractors. I think this joke's hilarious. Lightning
too.
spots is great. They're just, I love it.
I've been
Lightning
in this
spots
position
Astray.
so many times.
So many times, dude.
So many times.
Wild animals chasing
just
after me and
heads up.
Kevin.
I've been here the whole time. I'll see you in a bit. And the people walk in and be like, hey. It's like, oh.
Lightning spots Astray and chases after him. When he gets close to the track, he sees Doc sitting at the starting line all by himself,
So cool.
staring out over the racetrack. And Lightning silently cheers him on. He's like, come on, Doc, you can do it. Of course, Doc then musters the courage, revs up his engine, and floors it. And he races like the damn lightning up the side of that cool half pipe thing and then hits that turn that gave Lightning so much trouble. But when he does, he knows how to take it the right way and drifts right around it,
So sick.
much to Lightning's amazement. When he finishes the race, Lightning chases after him and is like, dude, you got to tell me how you do that. You got to tell me all about this stuff. But then Doc's like, listen, this is not where I want to be. He's like, why did you quit? Is what he asks him. The Doc says, well, I didn't quit. I got into a big wreck. And when they finally put me back together, I was told that I was history. Quote, there wasn't a lot left in me. Excuse me. There was a lot left in me, but I never got the chance to show them. I never expected that the world would find me here.
I always hated how, like, obviously the scene's great. It's just, The scene's just really well put together, but the way he's so childish in driving away from Lightning when Lightning is like, yo, Doc, that was awesome. And he's like, no. He just like pieces out. He's like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, it's just such a weird reaction from an old man.
Lightning, of course, tries to tell him, listen, I'm not that world. I'm not them. But he says, yeah, when was the last time you thought about something other than yourself? Which hits hard. Of course, the town wakes up the next morning to find the road finished and Lightning gone. And they're actually kind of sad. They're going to miss him. The sheriff sheds a tear, and Red just straight up takes off crying. And then
like
Mater's
that
like,
recurring
listen, he would
bit.
never have left without saying goodbye. And to which Lightning replies as he rolls up on him, who are you talking about? Or what happened to Red, rather. And Mater replies, he's sad because you left town, which is great. Lightning.
I love it. It's such dumb humor, but it made me
know.
chuckle for sure. And like, it's just
Good.
such a good moment where it's like, oh, Lightning, that's my boy. Character growth.
Yeah, and of course Lightning says, well, I couldn't possibly leave town on these tires, to which Luigi, overjoyed, jumps into
This
action and
is such a
sells
good
him a
moment.
set of white walls. And then he fills up on some of Fillmore's organic fuel, buys a set of night vision goggles from Sarge, and gets a new paint job from Ramon.
Fuck yeah, man. Love this scene. Reminds me of a good superhero, like getting a suit upgrade, like we just saw with Wanda. We're about to get with Falcon. And I'm just like, my boy, Lightning McQueen, getting the sweet, nasty drip. Kevin was so right. Getting the sparkly look is just utterly fantastic.
Joey's favorite
and
color.
Nick, when
It is.
we do, yeah, sparkles. In the Cars ride in Disneyland, it is going through the story of the movie kind of, but there's a point where you're in the car, like everyone's like, the cart you're in is like 6 people per car, and it pulls into Luigi's, and you get the upgrade, and they paint the car, they do all this stuff. And then when you pull out, another car full of people pulls up next to you, and then ends in a race, and it's randomized who wins, and it is
It's
hype
so
as
dope.
fuck because it's just like it's a cool ride. Where you're like, oh, this is going through the story, and then all of a sudden it's like pedal to the metal, hype as fuck. You're yelling at the other people. It's so great.
That's
I
amazing.
do like more importantly though that the upgrade is also just used as a callback to the Radiator Springs of old and sort of the old vintage style with the painting on the side with the sparkly paint with I don't know, I think it was just kind of cool to say like paying homage to what Radiator Springs used to be and where its roots are.
Yeah, it's a good moment. Of course, followed by a slightly better moment. As a surprise for Sally, he gets the entire town to fix and turn on their neon lights, just how it used to look in the heyday. And then everyone goes for a little cruise down the main drag. And you know, this is when lightning starts to get real close to Sally, but Lizzie cuts in. So Mater has to kind of cut in and drag him back, and it's really cute. And then Lizzie stands by the statue of her late husband and says, "Look at all this cool stuff that's happening." And it's really
So
kind of an
cool.
endearing moment.
Such
I
cool
love this scene. Like there's something about like all the cars like getting that little spark of life back of like just going down, driving down Main Street. It's just like a funny thing of like, oh, like what would cars do if they were like
Just
gonna have
go
like
for
a
a
fun,
drive,
fancy
yeah.
little date night? Just
Oh, yeah.
drive down. It's so fun.
Of course, Sally and Lightning start getting mighty cozy, and until Flo spots some lights on the horizon, and all hell breaks loose. The media has finally found Lightning McQueen, Harv, his agent, of course. And I like the bit that Harv's never there; it's always on the phone. Tells him he's like, "You've been
so
everywhere.
excited
You
for him.
can't buy this kind of publicity." Lightning tries to tell him about the town and Route 66. Is like, "This place is amazing," but the allure of the race once again pulls him back. He tries to apologize to Sally for having to leave, but instead, she thanks him. She says, "Oh, sorry. I forgot this. I kind of muddled this part up. Hold on." So she tries to apologize to Sally, but she instead thanks him. She said, "Quote, it's just a road," he says. And she says, "No, it was much more than that. You brought the town back to life, basically. Good luck in California. I hope you find what you're looking for there." And he's like, "No, I already found it here." Anyway, before he can chase after her, the media surrounds him and literally and metaphorically pushes him back into his little box, which I thought was a cool piece of visual storytelling. Once one of the paparazzi thanks Docs for the call, and then when Sally, what's that?
It just feels so shady.
Oh,
but then it
super
ends up being
shady.
a good thing.
Of course, I think Sally calls him out on it, and he says it's best for everyone. It's just best for everyone or best for you. Mater didn't even get a chance to say goodbye. Back in California, cars pour into the LA Raceway for a 200-lap winner-take-all tie-breaking race. Junior, who I assume has got to be a character in the future movie here because they're building him up a lot here. Anyway, wishes King luck in his final race, and Fred, the Rust Bucket from Lightning sponsor, the Lightning sponsorship show speech thing, is desperately trying to get in. Lightning does his.
Wait, you're talking about Junior?
Junior was Dale Earnhardt,
That's Dale
right?
Earnhardt Jr.
Junior?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It was just a little
Interesting.
cameo. It was just like,
That's
hey,
cool.
we have a race car driver. We have a NASCAR.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know if that was gonna be like that's the guy that's like he's gonna have to mentor in the next movie. Or what. I've never seen Cars 2. Lightning does some pre-game visualization just like he did before, but he can't get the town and its people and Sally out of his mind. They keep drifting. His thoughts keep drifting over to that instead of staying focused. He thanks Mac for being his one and only pit crew, and then a bunch of planes fly in. And this is where I get super confused. I'm like, what is this world? Is there just one plane? Is he followed by everyone? I don't understand it.
Nick, would you be surprised to know that there's a spin-off series called Planes?
No, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Really?
I should have set it up.
It
a
was
little
just a
bit better.
TV series, right?
Like straight to
Well,
DVD.
it was a
movie?
straight
Several.
to DVD movie and then a TV series as well.
Oh, got it.
But
They do a
it's-
warm-up
it's
lap.
not like super connected, right? It's not made by Pixar, right? Then they like.
Well, it's not made by Pixar, but it is canon.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't realize it was canon. Because then they also have like Planes Rescue Heroes, which is the like force fight division, right?
I'm pretty sure that's the show.
Oh, all right.
They start their warm-up lap, and Chick talks a lot of shit. Actually, I never know if it's a warm-up lap. I think do they do like running starts in NASCAR? They do, right? They just start going first, and then it's the flag, and then they go. That's probably what they do. And Chick is talking a lot of shit, but Lightning can only think of Sally as the race begins.
Yeah,
Chick,
they have like the pace car or whatever.
yeah, and then they go, right? That's how NASCAR
Yeah.
works. Chick takes an early lead with Lightning trailing. Lightning once again drifts off the thoughts of Sally and spins out. Mac asks him what's wrong, but when Lightning tries to reply, Doc comes over the radio and tells him, "I didn't come all this way to see you quit."
Come
Lightning.
on.
Really good. And
Such
it's
a
fucking
good
Paul
moment.
Newman saying
So
the line
good,
too.
Yeah.
Pretty
Just
good.
nailing it.
Lightning, it turns out, has a new pit crew. All
Wait,
of the
real
wonderful
quick.
cars from Radiator Springs.
The main guy in Planes, Dane Cook.
Oh God.
There you
Huh?
go.
Nick?
Plain cook.
Andy.
Wow. Let's see. When he looks over and spots me, he says, "I thought you said you'd never come back." And he says, "I didn't have a choice. Mater didn't get to say goodbye." To which Mater replies,
So good.
"Goodbye." Okay, I'm
Yep.
good.
Yeah, I can go now.
I can go now. When he pits, Doc tells him, "If you can drive as good as you can fix a road, then you can win this race with your eyes shut. Now get back out there." And of course, as everyone realizes who's talking, the whole world freaks out when they spot the new pit crew chief, the fabulous Hudson Hornet. And it's a really, really nice moment. We're like, holy shit, is that Hudson Hornet? That guy's still alive. That's awesome. Lightning races his ass off and makes up the lap, but Chick tries to pull a fast one on him and spins him out. Again, little does he know, Mater taught Lightning how to drive backward, which he does, and then flips back around and stays in the race. Chick pulls another dirty trick, causing Lightning to blow a tire. Yellow flag, Lightning pits, and Guido is called into action. And I love this moment because the other pit team is just talking so much shit to him.
So good.
To which Guido looks over and just absolutely crushes it. And their beard, literally to the point where their mustaches fall off. And then,
I don't know what it is about this character, but he reminds me of the little like cleaning crab guy.
Yes.
They have the
Yes.
same
Oh,
energy.
yeah.
Oh, they're both
Finding
French.
Nemo.
Are
Are they really?
I guess it's
No, I mean,
European.
Guido's Italian.
They're Italian,
Guido's
and then we've got the
definitely
French, right?
But they have very similar like mannerisms and like they
I love his
they
intimidating
like doing their
face,
little
Joe.
jobs.
Yeah,
He's got
good.
such an intimidating face
Yeah.
after he like does all the tires super quick and it takes off and everybody's like, "Holy shit! Look at this
Yeah.
little weirdo."
Of course,
I love all
Lightning.
the little mustaches falling off too.
Yeah.
I love that part. Lightning, of course, has to rip out down the pit. Now, this is actually a really hype moment, too, because he has to beat the pace car out of the pit or else he's out of the race. And I don't understand anything about NASCAR, but if that's true,
Me
that's really
neither.
cool. They head into the final lap with Lightning still running third. 4 turns left, one at a time. And Doc comes over and says, "Drive it in deep and hope it sticks," which is what I'm going to tell Tim
Sounds
next time he talks to a
gross.
sponsor. I'm just going to like, "Tim, drive it in deep, hope it sticks." And he's going to say, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I said, you know what I'm talking about. Lightning tries to pass, but Chick bumps him again, causing him to skid out into the dirt. Luckily, Doc taught him how to drift. Float like a Cadillac, sting like a Beamer.
Oh,
Lightning's
God,
right
what
back
so
in the
good.
race. Yep, and takes the lead yet again, and the race is his. Frustrated, Chick screams at the king and says, "I'm not coming in third again to you one more time," and bumps him, sending him tumbling out of commission. Lightning spots the crash on the Jumbotron and remembers the sight of Doc's crumpled body in the newspaper clippings and stops him dead in his tracks. So he lets Chick win. And everyone's like, "What the hell is he doing?" But of course, we all know he throws it in reverse and heads over to the king to give him a little push. And when Strip asks him what he's doing, he replies, "I think the king should finish his final race." What's up, Kev?
Could he not finish the race and then go back and push him? Would that
Thank you,
have-
Kevin. Thank you.
Because well, here's the thing: as I was asking
Thank
that, I
you.
thought to myself, maybe that somehow disqualifies him. Like maybe
Yeah.
once he's off the race, he can't then push someone else without getting in trouble.
Here's my problem with it. Here's
Yeah.
my
Getting
problem
that
with
guy
it.
in trouble, you know?
Here's my problem with it. Lightning McQueen, a little performative, okay? A little performative in action right here. It's not as if you were head to head with Chick and you started pulling ahead, then the crash happened, and you're like, "Oh fuck," and you spun around really quick to go save him and try. No. Like you knew the cameras are on me. Everybody with their cell phones. I'm gonna be put on World Star. I'm gonna be put on Twitter. Like everybody's gonna be so complimentary of me and this gesture that I'm about to make. A little performative. Do it when the cameras aren't on. Lightning, all right?
Good for him. He did it right, baby. Get the publicity for doing the dope thing, man. I'm with you, Lightning McQueen.
I mean, still could have finished though, Kevin. I'm with you. Finish, go back, help your friend, and be like, and say the same line.
Yeah.
The king, or what do you say? The king still got to finish the race, his final race.
Yeah, I think the king should finish his final race. Of course, to which the king replies, "You just gave up the Piston Cup. You know that, right?" And Lightning replies by saying, "This grumpy old race car I know once told me something. It's
He's
just an
listening
empty
in.
cup."
Another
Really good.
fucking such a solid moment that just leaves you
good
like,
line.
all right, all right.
All right.
Lightning, of course, pushes Strip over the finish line, and the crowd goes absolutely wild. Sally watches from Radiator Springs and puts a little smile on her face, which is nice. She's like, "I think I was right about this guy all along." Chick takes the stage to get his cup, but everyone boos his ass, and then Lightning heads back to the pit. And Mac, I love this line. He goes, "Congratulations on your loss." And he means it because it's, it was a great moment. And then Tex Dynaco, who owns the company, comes over and invites Lightning over for a little chat. He says, "How would you like to be the new face of Dynaco?" And Lightning says, "I didn't win." He goes, "Well, there's a lot more to racing than winning." To which I would say, no, there's not. You have to win. To Andy's earlier point,
Doesn't
this is why
matter.
this is why we should all hate
Win.
Lightning.
By an inch or a mile.
Exactly.
Winning's
Winning's winning.
Yeah.
And if you're not winning, if you're not first, you're last. We learned that from the Ballad of Ricky Bobby. But of course, Lightning is a better man now when he turns him down. He says, like, "I'm going to stick with my original sponsors. They're the ones that brought me, and they're the ones that I owe everything to." So Tex says, "Listen, that's amazing. I totally understand. Let me know if there's anything I can ever do for you." And he goes, "As a matter of fact, there is one thing." And we cut to Mater finally getting his helicopter ride. That's very sweet. Back in Radiator
So
Springs,
good.
of course, over in Luigi's shop, a bunch of Ferraris show up. And Luigi and Guido are like, "Oh my God," they're so beside themselves because apparently Lightning told them this is the place to go for tires, and they both faint. They have a little throwaway line here where Lightning says, "Well, I decided to set up my race headquarters here in Radiator Springs," and of course, is hoping a celebrity will bring a lot more business in, which it does. And he asks her if she wants to take a little ride with him, to which she replies, "Nah," and then tears off. And he lights up after her so they can go racing together. And then the credits, boom. We get a fun little credit scene here where Radiator Springs is back on the map and more lively than ever. The racers that ran Lightning off the road finally get their comeuppance as Mater gives Junior and Mr. and Mrs. King the tour of the Doc Hudson Museum. Doc and Lightning race as Sally reopens the Wheel Well Motel. Sarge trains some Hummers now how to actually beat off-road cars, which I thought was fucking hilarious because he's like, "We're gonna make you guys some off-road cars," and it's a bunch of like souped up like four-wheel drive vehicles that have never seen dirt in their life. And then Mater finally finds his hood and then sneezes it off. And then we get the greatest joke ever put in any Pixar movie, which I didn't even get. I'm so dumb. I didn't even get till the third one. I was like, "What are they doing here?" We get them at the drive-thru for Toy Car Story. Which is playing, and it's got the whole cast there, which is the John Ratzenberger scene. Then we get Monster Trucks Inc., which is also awesome. And then they show A Bug's Life, and I finally realized that it's all John Ratzenberger joke, and it's fucking great. To Kevin's earlier point, it's the best. And then we get a dedication to Joe Ramped, and it's very, very sad. And then a montage with the movie we just saw. And then we finally catch up with those tourists from earlier. They've been lost in the desert this whole time with a little fairy bug chasing after them. And that is Cars.
It's a beetle.
The montage in the credits was really bizarre because a lot of it was like, it was just Cars footage, but slowed down. And it's like,
Oh, afterwards,
why
yeah.
did it look like you slowed this down in Premiere? Like it's missing so many frames. It looks like shit. Like Pixar, come on.
Yeah,
I
bad.
wonder if that was like a bad export where they were like, all right, let's just use that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. It was definitely weird. But it's time for Haiku and Review.
7 syllables in the middle. You need 5 for the first and last line. If you're not poetic, no need to fret it. Haikus don't need to rhyme. Haiku in review. Haiku in review.
You can go to patreon.com/kindafunny to write your review in haiku form, just like Andrew Feisner did. He says, "Living the fast life, forced to take it down a bit, still fast, but happy." Lee Polero says, "Life is a highway, want to ride it all night long." Song stuck in your head. It is true. It is one of the catchier songs in the world. Then we got Joe Mertens, who says, "They're fucking Beatles. The flies in cars are Beatles." It's fucking brilliant.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if that's a
miscellaneous,
haiku.
of course, does the plot in haiku. McQueen's getting dissed, 3-rig tie, and Lightning's pissed. Also, he's racist. Radiator Springs and destruction Lightning brings. He's got to fix things. Starts off such a dick, but you know what does the trick? Time on 66. The big race he throws and he turned down Dinoco. Goes home with his bros.
Nice.
Hey,
Very
why
nice.
is he
Like,
racist? Did I miss something?
like he's a racer, like a race. That's what I'm assuming.
No.
That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, that word doesn't mean what you think it means.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't catch any racism, but you never know. Now it's time for a little bit of Ragu Bagu.
Ragu. Bagu. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys. And if I'm talking a little slow, it's because I forgot to pull up the list. Here we go. Number one.
Before you do this, Nick, I want to tell you that I have a note on my doc that says, Nick, it's on your computer, not your phone, parentheses, echo phone. So,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think that was a night one thing. Or
Yeah, you
episode
can
one
you can
thing,
take
but-
that off. You can say,
Okay,
Nick,
good.
it's on your phone. You just leave it there,
Gotcha.
okay?
Gotcha.
Cool. Of course, this is where we rank all the bad guys in the Pixar universe. Starting it off, number 1, Lotsa. Number 2, Prospecta. Number 3, Noosewater and Randall. Number 4, Hopper from Ants. Number 5, Syndrome from The Incredibles. Number 6, Darla and the Barracuda and Marlin and everyone else from Finding Nemo. Number 7, Woody and Sid. And number 8, Gabby. This is a weird one, but I guess we'll just say this is one of those where he's like, he is the bad guy in this movie, right?
It's Chip and Hubris.
Yeah, we'll say chicken hubris. How about that? Where do we want to put them?
Oof, like low, right? Like 7.
Last?
Like
Yeah, maybe last.
I'd say last.
I'd say above Gabby, just because it was.
Gabby's
I think
terrifying.
Gabby had like a little bit more.
Okay, put it last then.
There you
Sounds
go,
like everyone
dead
wants it
last.
Yeah, I'm down for last.
All right. there it
Yeah,
is.
definitely last. Gabby was. I mean, she ended up kind of. It's one of those villains that you sort of sympathize with towards the end of it, but it's
I never
still
did.
like she was still a force in the movie, you know.
Well, there you are. Dead last, and I can't spell hubris, so I'm looking it up right now. Hubris.
I think that even if you want to be loved,
Thank
you're not
you.
allowed to like pull parts out of other things and take them.
Fair enough.
Take that out of context. Now it's time to rank the Pixar movies. Currently, number 1, Monsters, Inc. Number 2, Finding Nemo. Number 3, The Incredibles. Number 4, Toy Story 3. Number 5, Toy Story 2. Number 6, Toy Story 4. Number 7, Toy Story. And number 8, A Bug's Life. I want to start the bid by putting it at number 8, above A Bug's Life, underneath the rest of them.
Interesting.
That's
Sounds about right.
I would
That's a good
second that.
spot.
I would second that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I'd say that.
the thing with
Great
this
movie, though, I
movie
wanna-
is it has a really really good cast, right? But they are just so forgettable because the focus is essentially Lightning McQueen and his story, just like the focus of Toy Story is Woody and Buzz. But the overall ensemble in Toy Story is so much more memorable. And I feel like a lot of the side characters here are just kind of put to waste. I keep forgetting Cheech from Cheech and Chong as the lowrider. Cheech Marine, yeah. I just feel like so many of the rest of the cast is just underutilized, even though, and the movie's long enough for sure. I just, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of a waste and a bit of an opportunity missed there. So I would put this below A Bug's Life at number 9.
I don't know if I agree with Andy because I feel like they're memorable. Maybe I think we're just a little bit older, and this movie, so many of the jokes are like, oh, it's a kids movie. But when I watched The Bug's Life, like I was a kid, so I think that maybe if I was younger, the characters their little jokes would be more memorable. I like the cast; it's so cool to like look at it and see like all these cool people. But that being said, I do think that 8 is the right spot for it, and that really is more a commentary on the movies above it and how amazing they are. Because Pixar, man, it's great.
Yeah, I think that like this a little bit more than the first Toy Story, so I was gonna put it at 7, but at that point we're kind of just splitting hairs, and it's not that much higher than it's just like one slot, so I'm not really gonna fight that hard since we all seem to be in the same general area of the ranking of the list.
So Nick, you're the final say here. Where you at?
And yeah, I think I do think this movie was I'd put it right above A Bug's Life. I think it's. I don't think it's better than Toy Story, but I don't. I think this is gonna be more memorable for me than A Bug's Life. I can't remember half the characters in that anyway. That's right. Put it.
Dot.
So there we go.
Sad.
The rankings are number 1, Monsters Inc., 2, Finding Nemo, 3, The Incredibles, 4, Toy Story 3, 5, Toy Story 2, 6, Toy Story 4, 7, Cars, and 8. No, sorry, 7 Toy Story, 8 Cars, and then 9, A Bug's Life. There you go. We're going to return next week, or this week, with Mortal Kombat 2021. Just so everybody is aware, because the movie's dropping Thursday night at midnight, we're going to watch it Friday during the day, record our review Friday afternoon, and it'll go up Friday night for everybody. And then the week after that, we're returning with Pixar in Review with Ratatouille, a movie that I have never seen.
Really?
Oh.
Very excited for this.
Fascinating.
Until then,
Life is a highway. I want to ride it all night long.